and your child was tarnishing the brand that you worked and you have employees under that and it's hurting your company, what would your thoughts be? And welcome back to the Convoluted Podcast, the only show where your workplace trauma, small town scandals, and fruit-filled science all live in unholy harmony.
Where else can you go from, I got pranked by Chucky and now have PTSD, to these flies are tweaking harder than your cousin at Coachella?
Today's episode is stack. Like, truly, fridge clean out levels of strange. We got a banker who's got ambushed by a horror doll, a coffee heir going full demolition derby, and a woman who forged a wedding ring and included a gift bag.
Oh, and let's not forget, someone got handsy during a school dance recital. We got bugs doing lines in the name of science, and there's a fungus literally evolving to kill us while you sleep. You're welcome.
We're not saying this episode is cursed, but if you light flickers when listening, that's on you.
And if you're new here, hi, welcome. We're your host. I'm Liz, professional mischief maker, certified pillow slinger, and part-time wedding crasher.
And I'm Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, your structured chaos wrangler and anime analyst, and reluctant Chucky sympathizer. Actually, no, no, I am not.
And if you've been riding with us, you know the drill.
Before we dive into these delightful descents into madness, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching us, or follow on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Leave us a review, drop a comment, and most importantly, tell your weirdest friends about this episode. We're building a whole community on chaos, and you know they belong here.
Okay. All right, let's set things off with our first story. Actually, before our first story, how's everyone's week been? How has your week been?
As of this episode right now, I'm on day 6 of 7. Overtime. Yay. Whoop whoop.
Yay.
Bruh. Yay. And it's the first day of summer as of yesterday of the series.
It's a wet one. So it's a wet summer.
It's a wet one already. It's like, hey, welcome to Oregon.
Fuck me, right?
We've had so many really nice days towards the end of spring, and then day 1 of summer. Wet. And I felt ill. Still a little groggy, so if my energy is not to match, I do apologize. And if my voice is a little bit more groggier than normal, I am still recovering. It seems like it might just be a one-day bug, but let's hope so. But it's the start of summer. We're getting close to we are near the end of season 7, everyone. So we're going to be getting prepped and ready. We're going to take I know we took like a month-long break, unofficial break, because May was chaotic. May was chaos incarnate for us.
Chaos.
We tried to do episodes, but it was hard with so much things. So we will be taking like a 2-week break just before we hit season 8 of the podcast. We're going to be prepping, getting you photos and stuff, and we might, me and Liz still have to talk about this, be talking about new merch coming up to finally kind of get all that cleared up. We've been very I think the word is lambastic about it. We just been just no time to just settle this. But yeah, get ready. Season 8 is gonna be next level, and more bonus episodes. We are working on a new bonus episode. Liz has something we're working on. So I don't know if Liz wants to hold it as a surprise for now and then talk about it next week, or
I'll just say sweet berries.
That's a sweet
Give a
hint.
little taste for that.
Ooh, delicious. Anything else that's been happening or brought up all week?
No, we're just gearing up for summer, and it's gonna be a wild ride this summer for sure. I already have a full-on couple weeks where I'm just running, and then I get vacation. I get to go on vacation.
There you go. Okay, then everyone, let's start with our first story about a North Carolina banker, a Chucky doll, and a workplace prank that may have gotten someone fired into a lawsuit.
Buckle up, babes. It's time for Chucky Chairgate.
Damn.
Picture this. You're starting a new job. You're in training. You're still figuring out which bathroom doesn't smell like despair. And then, boom. You sit down and find yourself face to face. Hold on. You find
No,
yourself face to face. Face. That's what it is. Dude, I'm getting tongue-tied today. Woos. With freaking Chucky.
Yes, face to stitch face. Definitely, that is a tongue twister. Face to stitch face. Face to stitch. That's a toughie.
I know, right? Trying to say that. It's not it's a mouthful. That's what you said. Hey, yo.
So the doll in particular was not a plushie. It's not a sticker. It was legitimately a full-size, life-like Chucky doll that was sitting in your chair in a bank at work. Not at Spirit Halloween, not a TikTok bit.
This happened to Deborah Jones, a banker in North Carolina, who's now suing her employer, Truist Bank, for what she says was a deliberate psychological warfare.
And here's the kicker. They knew she had a severe phobia of dolls, like medically documented trauma level fear she had shared with the company event. Whoa.
Which means someone just didn't stumble upon this idea. They made a mental note at a cookout like, oh, you're afraid of dolls? Mental ammo loaded.
She said the panic attack was immediate. She had to leave work and ended up taking an 8-week medical leave. Ooh. And was later diagnosed with PTSD tied to the incident.
So this wasn't just I screamed and laughed it off. This is I need therapy now and a possible priest.
Oh my god.
Fuck me, right?
After she returned from leave, things apparently got worse. Her new manager allegedly mocked her, and coworkers started making jokes about her being fraudulently vigilant. Yeah.
Which that phrase alone sounds like someone a villain says before launching a lawsuit of their own.
She says that she had a medical accommodation to leave work 3 times a week for the bit. Oh my god, how do you pronounce that? Vitiligo related care, and got framed as favoritism.
Translation: your trauma is inconvenient to us, Deborah.
So by January, her manager told her that maybe the job wasn't a good fit anymore. She was terminated in March. And then, she was terminated in March.
And now she's suing for disability discrimination, retaliation, and emotional distress under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Okay, first off, why do we keep trying to make pranks for a part of corporate culture?
Because somewhere out there is a manager named Todd who reads a business book titled Bleeding Through Laughter and thought it meant traumatizing your staff with murder dolls, apparently.
It's always team building until someone files a federal complaint.
Like Chucky, that's not even an office-friendly horror icon. This isn't Casper the passive-aggressive ghost.
This is the doll that literally stabs people in the throat. Why is yelling slurs? The HR training video writes itself.
So here's the deeper thing. When someone tells you about their phobia or mental health challenge, that's trust. And turning it into a joke, that's betrayal of masquerading as banter.
And once it's out there, as a whole office starts treating you trauma like a meme material, you're not at work. You're in a roast session, you can't leave.
So now we wait and see how Triss responds in court. If there's any justice, they'll have to call Chucky to the stand.
I'm sorry, that's kind of funny. Bring a doll. Do you solemnly swear to stab the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Kudos to Plutos.
Coming up, So let's before we continue. So what do you think?
I think it was a little pushed, a little out there. That shouldn't have been done. But I guess we're different pranksters in our teams and my groups, so my friend groups. So I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I could see like it being traumatizing and detrimental to their health, especially if they have a huge phobia to
the specific thing. Yeah.
dolls.
My thoughts exactly. So I used to have a huge fear of dolls. Not as much. I have no like your now traditional paranoia of dolls, when they're just sitting there. Before it was like I would
They're
snap.
following me. They're watching.
Yeah, before when I was younger, and it's literally because of Chucky. I would literally snap all my sister's Barbies heads off. I think also that and Small Soldiers. That movie's still good, but definitely that solidified dolls coming to life. And definitely some phobias, no matter what it is, either if you're heights, fear of deep water, a lot of things, right? That's why Liz does not want to go skydiving with me.
I would love to go skydiving. I just don't like glass partitions where you walk across the glass partition. I feel like I'm gonna drop the feet down.
Exactly. There's different levels, right? Like I would say what you would consider your like mild then, like.
It depends if there's glass. So if there's glass, yes, I'm absolutely freaking fear up. But if there's no glass and I don't know I'm up high, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Except when I was in the castle, that was a messed up thing. But I think because it was raining and the stairs were slick, and that was a whole different issue.
So you would consider yours low to medium, low to mild. Yeah, and I would say most people have a general fear of something here and there, but then there's that scale where some people are extremely afraid of certain like concept things, ideas. It can get debilitating. And the thing that's the problem here is it was quote weaponized, right? That's the other thing.
It was malicious. If you think
that's the
about it.
problem.
It was very
Okay, that's
well
the
planned out and
exactly. I think that's the best way to put it. It was a malicious prank, because if it was just a like, oh, they didn't know, and there was no like, okay, that's understandable, we apologize and stuff like that. The knowing that this was discussed beforehand, right? And
premeditated, basically.
That's the problem. And then the continuation of the mocking. You can only if they were like, let's say low or mildly afraid and you just jab a little bit, if you have a good rapport with the individual, that would have been fine. But someone who was this hit is the problem. As much as the joke for anyone else, like if it would have got me, I would have I would have spat and I would have punched the doll, and that would have been it. And then the guys would be joking with me on my brow, and I would just jab back, and that would be the end of it, right? But that would be because I have, like I said, I have a very low phobia to this nowadays compared to my younger days. But some people, like I said, just have it rough. And the other thing is then what are your thoughts with them firing her because she wasn't the right fit, or is that the words? Or yeah.
Yeah, yeah, basically what they said. She wasn't a right fit, because she took so much time and off and all that. So I think that was definitely pushing the belt. They were, I guess, they were really toying with that idea. Like she, excuse me, can be excused essentially for not doing her job, but it's very hard. It's very hard to like fire somebody once they're on medical leave, basically. So it is definitely a discussion that should have happened long after it happened, but it felt like it was like she took the 8 weeks and then she was fired like right after she came back. It seemed like after that moment. So
Yeah, I think also I have a feeling that a lot of other coworkers were just like, why is she taking so much time off? Why does she get to live? Because they said favoritism, right? And that's where things can get a little bit definitely the workplace can get a little bit aggressive. And then, gossip talk, and then people just start chatting. That, yeah. It's one of those things where it's hard to acknowledge some of these things, right? Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
We'll see if there's anything that comes out in the future, but for now, we'll wait and see. So, coming up next, a man born into coffee luxury who decides traffic laws were suggestion and a gas can are fashion.
It's a caffeinated crime spree. Don't drive buzz, especially if you're rich and weird.
So, from office horrors to caffeinated chaos, we now present the story of Austin Hills, heir to the Hills Bros, or Hills Brothers coffee legacy, who decided to go full Mad Max in a Land Rover.
Picture it. The Tesla plant in Fremont, California. Cars parked, workers commuting, and here comes Austin, allegedly plowing through traffic like it owes him royalties.
He's now facing felony charges after allegedly ramming multiple cars, driving erratically, and wait for it, being found with gas cans, empty alcohol bottles, and spent shell cases in the vehicle.
Shell casings? What was the plan here? Caffeine powder demolition derby meets Clue?
Cornell coffee in Range Rover with the Cornell. It is Cornell. I said Cornell. Cornell.
No, Colonel.
Cornell.
Like a colonel. Okay.
It
sounds weird on my side. I don't know why.
Okay, man. She's making fun of my accent now. Sheesh over here, man. Can't catch a break.
And look at that shit.
So Colonel coffee in the Range Rover with the flask and vague menace. So let's break this down a little bit. So the full profile, Austin Hill. Who is Austin Hills? He was born into wealth, doesn't actually work for Hills Brothers, but lives in a massive mansion in San Francisco, and apparently just vibes all day.
And then this final June afternoon, he chose violence, literally crashed into multiple cars near a tech corridor. It's not some back road Tesla's serve.
Luckily, no fatalities, but injuries were reported. Multiple cars totaled, and when police pulled him, his Land Rover looked like it lost a fight with karma. Damn.
And we reportedly smelled like a bottle of Jack Daniels and a bad decision, which feels like Hills Brothers' new seasonal roast.
Now that he's charged with a felony assault with a deadly weapon, DUI, and reckless endangerment, big legal piled on. And of course, Hill Brothers was quick to release a statement. Hill Brothers. So the statement is, we don't know him like that. Oh, my bad. He doesn't work here. He's just has our bloodline legacy brand PR dodged.
They haven't been family owned in years, but name still matters, and internet does not care about the nuance when the memes are brewing.
Yeah. So some of the fun online things that were happening was here's a tweet. He's the espresso exorcist, cleansing traffic one fender at a time.
That's pretty good. That's epic. Mine, caffeine crash, literally. Also, someone drew him a coffee beans with rage eyes. I saved it.
And Reddit had a whole thread ranking which coffee brands are most likely to snap. Hill Brothers is now tied with Death Wish.
That's a good coffee, by the way.
Bruh.
Yeah. I mean, when you're born into wealth and your only job is to not wreck the family name, maybe don't go on a street rampage.
But that's the thing. Without purpose, legacy just becomes pressure. And when rich dudes break it, it's rarely quiet.
They always go big. Never, I quietly took up pottery. No, it's, I wrecked 6 Hondas and poured gasoline on a city block.
Rich guy tantrum unlocked. So, what are your thoughts here, Liz?
Oh. It's funny. Well, you know, but money will get him out of the shenanigans.
True.
No doubt. This is gonna be our one article. And we're never gonna see a trace of this shit in the planet later. But I mean, I think this guy should have taken up any different hobby, not this rampage of shenanigans like he decided he was going to.
I don't know,
funny,
with that
like-
much wealth and just kind of just hang out. Like I said, it's like he just vibes. He was probably just throwing parties, hanging out, and doing anything. He lived in what part of California? Is this San Francisco?
San Francisco area. Oh, Fremont.
Anyways, yeah,
what I said.
But anyways, yeah,
It's in California somewhere. Anyways, but yeah, he's in the hills of like rich California, and he's got this life of luxury. You could travel, drink anywhere, go chaos somewhere else. We'll hear about it on the news there, but why California of all places? I'm like, it's already a shithole with all the people that are there. Never know if it's gonna be a desert or a wet season.
True. The other thing is just like even though he doesn't work for the company, that's the other thing people are talking about, like we mentioned, is the name behind things, right? Do you remember when this was years ago, like early social media, when the Hilton hotels were getting a little bit of backlash because of Paris Hilton's early days, just because of the name. And it's one of those things where, what do you think what are your thoughts if you built a brand under your name and your child was tarnishing the brand that you worked and you have employees under that and it's hurting your company? What would your thoughts be?
I think like what every rich person does, rein them in. Whether that would be sedating them with, drugs or put them in a psych hold or something, I feel like there'll be some sort of repercussions on there. Definitely would be really like 24-hour security on them. You can go to X, Y, and Z, and that's it. No place else, and no drinking. No. I think that's what will happen. I mean, I do remember the Hiltons and how badly they messed up with a lot of the names and stuff like that. But then it soon faded real quick out of the news because, money buys information, right? Buys out, what they need to.
Exactly. I think that's what's going to happen here. More so because there's, besides damages and a couple injuries, I think it'll just fade away with money settlements and then just kind of go from there. And then we won't ever hear, like you mentioned, we won't hear about it again. All right, let's continue.
Oh, true. Austin's court date's coming up, and this legal team has a Keurig in the waiting room.
So, coming up next, a woman who married her ex without his knowledge, gift bag included, romance is dead, and being exhumed with a forged document.
Love bombing? Try love binding. Do you not want to miss this one?
You see here. So, have you ever been married without knowing it? Well, you actually wouldn't know if you did. You were.
I know, right? Well, eventually it comes to light, right? Because apparently that's possible now, especially if your ex has access to a printer, a reverend, and aggressively scented candles.
So, oh, whoa. So this week's maternal. Oh my god. Matrimonial. Thank you. Madness comes from Texas, where a woman named Brenda Foster.
Texas.
Yes. Brenda Froster? Froster?
Froster? I don't think it was Froster.
Froster. Brenda allegedly forged a marriage license and got it certified, and then mailed it to her ex in a Bath and Beyond work gift bag.
No, Bath and Body Works. Oh my god.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Because you're doing a psychological warfare, you want to try a mixture that smells like Japanese cherry blossom.
So what happened here? So Brenda's 50, mature enough to know better. She faked her ex signature on a marriage application, convinced the reverend to officiate it. However, but somehow officiated, then sent him a whole marriage starter kit.
The bag reportedly included the certificate, a framed photo of the two of them, and that I can only assume we're not reading. Surprise, babe, you're mine now.
He hasn't spoken to her in months. He had zero idea they were married until the bag arrived like a cursed drop.
So you open your mail expecting coupons. Instead, you're in a legal binding union with someone you ghosted in 2022.
Oh god, that's ridiculous. So she's now facing charges of forgery of government documents, filing false records, and stalking.
And possibly breaking some kind of cosmic law, because this level of Delulu should come with its own federal classification.
And also, how did this reverend not verify anything? Was this a back alley officiant, a Craigslist ceremony?
Yeah, I do weddings, divorces, and vape refills. No questions asked.
And social media, X, TikTok, Reddit, everyone jumped on this story. Some people called it the BBW wedding phrasing matters.
There were memes about gaslighting geraniums, custom candle names like Till Death Do Us Scented.
And some playlist jokes, Unholy Matrimony Volume 2, and the ballads of Brenda.
Someone did a dramatic reading of the whole situation in Southern Bella accent. It was Oscar worthy.
Ooh, I would like to find that actually. What gets me is how easy this was to pull off. One forged signature, a cooperative reverend, and suddenly there's a husband who doesn't even know that he didn't even know he RSVP'd.
It's exposing real flaws in the system. You shouldn't be able to do a speedrun of marriage like it's a Vegas side quest.
Exactly. There are more security checks when you buy liquor than you fake a union in Texas. True.
Honestly, I've had pizza deliveries that were harder to confirm.
Oh my god. So, what are your thoughts here?
I think it's funny. It really does make wonder how there are so many flaws to the system. How you can easily marry somebody and nobody know it. Like you're about to go marry somebody. Oh, but you're married. What?
So I know different states have different policies, right? Because I'm an ordained minister myself, and so
He married us. You guys, you know it.
Yeah, I did.
Without my knowledge.
She is Mrs. Tyrant. No, wait, Miss Dominus. Mrs. Is it Mrs.? or Ms. I always get those
Yeah.
Miss.
Mrs. Ms. would be like
Miss.
if you didn't know if I was married or not married. So Ms.
I always get those
But
confused.
Mrs.
Mrs.
I'd be the Mrs. basically.
Yeah, she is Mrs. Dominus. But yeah, for me, in the state of Oregon, for the most part, I would just need. I'm trying to remember this correctly. I can double check, but for the most part, I need both consenting adults with 2 from each side. What is it called? Witnesses. Yes, witnesses from each side, and then just some paperwork, and I would just mail that out. That's how easy it is. I don't even have to do a whole ceremony. It's just like some reading some words, like confirming, and then IDs, things of that nature. Well, I still need their IDs for making sure all their names and stuff is correct, spelled correctly. But besides that, it just takes some lettering and just confirmation from both consent for consenting adults, and that's it. To my recollection, I've only done like 3 weddings, so
I think my brother's only done 3 weddings himself too.
yeah,
it's a couple of them.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to become one. That's the other thing. It's pretty easy to become one. So that's the other side of the story. Depending on what state you are, it's pretty easy to become an ordained minister. And then, like I said, every state has something different. So Texas might have a little bit more leniency on certain ways to get married. And the other thing is the other quote culprit is the one who filled out the paperwork. I would say they would also should be held responsible to an extent for not verifying everything, right? That's the other part. Because if I did that, excluding our marriage, I would be in trouble. So, because I have got multiple videos where Liz has accepted it. So, and it's not AI generated or just clipped together with different words of her saying different words. But definitely, I think the person who signed their signature on the bottom of the paper saying, yep, I agree, this is all fine. I think they should be held responsible to an extent, not wholly, like maybe lose their license, but just like
maybe pay a fine and maybe understand that maybe they should recertify themselves, like reacquaint themselves with the rules.
Exactly, because they're not that difficult. Like I said, I've done it a few times. I always double check. What's funny is the starter kit. I literally have had to pick up the starter kit multiple times, 3 times to do the stuff. And it that's the other thing. It just comes prepackaged everything, so it makes it easier. That's the other thing. It's just so easy to do it. And that's how I charge them. I charge them for the kit, like about an hour of my time, and then I one and done. Maybe he just was making a quick bet. She maybe paid him like.
And a bottle of whiskey, y'all. If you ever need it, just remember whiskey is his key.
So, yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. Then it becomes just the other side, the quote husband, right? That's so frustrating because then you have to go through so much legal hoopla to just get it annulled.
It's so easy to get married. It's so easy to get married, but so hard to get divorced and annulled.
Exactly. That's why she hasn't divorced me. So too much work for her. But yeah, I can only imagine what they're dealing with at the moment. Or
you know how much money he would make off of that now? Oh my God, Brandon's gonna be in the hole and in the prison hole.
But if he's smart, he could turn this into one of those Netflix miniseries or something. Like everyone has a miniseries at this point. Just like turn it into a miniseries or a short film. It's just it's such a ridiculous story.
I was married.
Exactly. That's a perfect line. Do you have any other thoughts as far as this article?
Well, I hope he gets retribution and somehow get this cleared off his name. Besides the annoying, but I mean, we have to I think he should definitely take some money from this shit because all this chaos ensued into his life that he did not ask for. He did not ask for, apparently.
So, let me see here. So Brenda's out on bond. The case is pending, and if it becomes a trend, expect surprise weddings to replace identity. Tongue twister again. Identity thieves in the next PSA campaign.
Don't say yes. Don't say no. Just check your mail regularly and hope for the best.
So, coming up next is an Indiana couple gets very inappropriate in a high school dance recital, and we are all worse for knowing about it. Ugh. Okay. Damn.
NSFW doesn't even begin to cover it.
And look at that shit.
So, okay, so let's see. This is gonna be a rough one, a little bit. So this next story is not safe for anything, or really not safe for work, school, or your sense of decency.
Or your lap, apparently.
Because in Indiana, a couple was arrested after allegedly performing lewd sexual acts on each other during a high school dance recital. Ugh.
Let's be specific. They were in the audience, surrounded by families, kids, probably some juice boxes, and at least 2 grandmas with camcorders. And these two decided it was time for dress rehearsal to their OnlyFans collab.
So this is kind of what happened. So police say it happened mid-recital. Parents started noticing movement, not clapping, not leg bouncing. We're talking gestures of intimacy. Ooh.
Gestures of mutual shared satisfaction. The kind that doesn't end with applause unless it's slow and sticky.
Ugh. One parent actually called 911 while the show was still going on. Okay.
Which means at least one poor 8-year-old was doing a tap solo to Uptown Funk while these two were clapping cheeks from OG.
So they were arrested without incident and are now facing charge of public indecency, lewd conduct, and endangering minors.
Honestly, they should have been charged with ruining jazz hands for life.
So cops said it was undeniable and explicit. Not a little kiss or suggested look. This was full audience act out. Oh God.
Oh, they weren't just watching the recital, they were making their own, and now presenting the Nutbusters Suite in D minor.
One headline called it obscene acts, which honestly undersells it. This wasn't just indecent. This was Broadway, but with trauma.
Picture it, Wicked, but instead of defying gravity, it's redefining boundaries.
So X and Reddit, social media went off. Pas de deux perverts started trending. Someone edited the recital stage into a Cinemax intro.
One user said, quote, when the nutcracker cracks back. Another, quote, from applause to ass applause.
That's a good one. I hate how good that is. True.
I know, right? Yeah, you're welcome. I've been saving that one.
So it does raise questions here, right? What makes someone do that? Narcissism, exhibitionism, bad brain writing? My brain, bad brain wiring right now, but yeah.
I mean, maybe it was a dare or a kink. Maybe getting caught during a middle school jazz number is the Roman Empire.
Whatever it is, there's going to be kids in therapy one day because of it.
A theater seat that can never be cleaned enough.
Ugh. So what are your thoughts here?
That That is gross. There's a time and place for everything. I mean, can we just be like, they didn't have to be there if they didn't want. I know they were like, oh, this was supposed to be our time, but well, we could time elsewhere. Like, scoot out. I mean, those recitals are long for what, 2 hours? Easy to go home, do what you need to do, and come back and be time for the pickup. I mean,
So I think we've both always been on the side where we don't really mind when people are into their kinks or whatever they're into, as long as it doesn't affect another party. And this one involved multiple parties.
multiple.
Like
And the kid, oh my god, the kid, oh my god, the trauma with that kid.
kids. This is kids.
I think no, I'm talking about. I don't know about them if they had a kid or a couple kids.
Yeah, I didn't read the full the whole.
Their trauma.
Oh yeah, that if their kid is gonna be.
G.
The other thing is, like, imagine if you were sitting and watching your child be on stage, and you kind of look over and you see that, Liz. What would your mind be racing with?
I'd be, oh my fucking god, picking up the phone, calling, and be like, and ask someone who was sitting there next to videotape that so we can them asses in jail. Dude, they might have even be charged with probably be called what do you call those, pedophiles, because of that.
Yeah, pedophiles. Yeah, well, technically there will be registered when cases like this, because they are going to be registered sex offenders. Because I think almost anytime anything involving mostly schools and stuff, anything within 100 feet, you'll be registered as a registered sex offender no matter what. Just because I think we read a story where an individual is literally pissing behind a like grocery store, and it was within a couple feet of a school, and he was caught just taking a piss behind a store, and then he was registered just because of that. And that's what sucks is in like instances like that where like I understand what the mentality is, because you are within a school range, right? That you can be caught, and that's how you are now classified, unless it's expunged. But moving forward, you'll be classified as a sex offender.
Both of them now. Ugh. To have parents be registered like that.
Yeah, because I think if I'm right, whenever you move or on your location, you gotta. And then imagine trying to.
You gotta notify the state, notify the county, notify the schools, notify neighbors, notify everything. Like it's not a fun thing.
Yeah, imagine trying to.
Big time.
Yeah, imagine trying to try to explain that to the neighbors. Like, yeah, me and my honey are registered sex because we were having sex at a high school recital.
No, middle school.
Middle school.
I feel like it's worse. I feel like you could have run into like, I don't know, somewhere else, just not there for all the obscene things. Like, there's a time and place, but that was definitely not the place. Definitely not the place. I don't care about your exhibitionism. I mean, do it somewhere where it's appropriate and not scarring like 100 dozen lives.
Exactly. Like I said, once again, it's just one of those things. As long as you're not involving a what's the word? Another non-consenting partners. That's a problem. Non-consenting individuals. People. If there's non-consenting peoples, then that's the huge problems. And then here it's just a public event, and that is I hope they get what's coming to them, because that
was gross.
Exactly. So court dates are pending, and that auditorium probably now under spiritual quarantine.
Honestly, burn the whole stage, baptize the curtains, and get those kids hazard pay.
All right, so coming up next, fruit flies on cocaine, tiny junkies, big signs, and yes, what I said is real.
Tiny bug, big bumps, let's go.
So here's a sentence I didn't expect to say in 2025. Scientists have officially created cocaine-addicted fruit flies.
Anybody have that on their 2025 bingo?
I did not.
That they didn't find them. They built them in a lab on purpose for research. And honestly, this might be the wildest peer review party ever.
So this comes out of the University of Utah, actually, where researchers genetically modified Drosophila. Give me a moment, everyone. This is the fun part of trying to say fruit flies in the animal kingdom here. Drosophila melanogastro? Fruit flies. I did my best, guys. I did my best. So, anyways, these fruit flies to become chemically addicted to cocaine.
Like they bypass their natural food-seeking instincts to chase narcotics. These bugs looked at sugar water and said, "Mid, I want those nose candy."
Now, so here's the science breakdown of. So this is what it's all about. So they edited the GR66A gene, which regulates taste reception in normal flies. Cocaine is bitter and repellent. But with the gene disabled, fruit flies couldn't detect the bitterness, so they started actively choosing cocaine-laced food.
Genetically, they couldn't tell it was bad, but neurologically, they kept coming back like tiny, vibrant return customers.
So, even more fascinating, just like humans, repeated exposure increased their cravings. They developed compulsive seeking behaviors, even when it meant ignoring food or flying through obstacles.
These bugs were literally out there tweaking through a maze. They turned lab trials into micro versions of Breaking Bad Airborne Edition.
Oh, God.
Bruh.
The point wasn't to give bugs a good time, it was about mapping neurological circuitry of addiction. Because fruit flies share roughly about 75% of human disease-related genes, including those tied to dopamine signaling.
Basically, your brain's on drug isn't that different from a bug's, which means a lot about musical festivals, actually.
But understand how addiction forms in simpler organisms. Researchers can isolate the specific pathways that cause humans to spiral and potentially find targeted interventions.
It's giving tiny tweakers for a better tomorrow. Like fruit flies walked so your cousin in rehab might fly.
Oh my
These
God.
quotes are awesome.
Bruh.
Okay, so here's a fun fact. Fruit flies have been used in genetic researches since the early 1900s. They've been into space, survived decapitation, and now they're doing coke runs in the name of science.
They're the cockroach interns of the medical world. Undervalued, overexposed, and not unionized.
And weirdly relatable. Like, wouldn't you crave chaos if you only lived for 30 days? Oh, that's kind of sad, actually.
True, if I only had a month to live, I'd probably be trying to get something that gets me banned from the fruit salad, too.
So Reddit was on this immediately. So there was a comment that said, "Finally, science I can relate to," end quotes.
TikTok addicts incoming, fruit flies in little lab coats, disco tracks playing, a tiny mirror, and a rolled up bed. Bug leg. Bug leg? Oh, okay.
On Twitter, there was wild. There was quote, "These flies are on a bender and still more proactive than my intern," end quote. Brutal. That's brutal.
That is absolutely brutal. And also, someone makes a mock Netflix poster. Oh, Buzz, the fruit fly crisis. I'd binge it.
So this does open bigger questions. What if we can prevent addiction by alternating prescriptions before dependency forms?
Perception.
Perception? Thank you.
Yeah. Like, edit the craving before it becomes a compulsion. Like, that's locally brilliant and terrifying. Like, bug mind control, but with rehab vibes.
Sci-fi meets neurology. Neurology. Yeah. Today it flies. Tomorrow, Gen Z TikTok dopamine hacks.
Or we go full cyberpunk, bugged out edition, controlled bugs, addicted drones. Just don't give them anxiety too. We already have enough of that.
So, what are your thoughts here?
I think it's a great thing. I mean, it's such an interesting that they use fruit flies. Yeah, it sucks that they only live for 30 days, but we
That's
can at least have an idea of how things work. We can figure out the circuitry and figure out how to like turn it off, turn it back on, change the way human behaviors. I mean, it yeah, it's easy to manipulate bug fruit flies than it is to manipulate human, right? It's so much work and it's a lot of loopholes. But fruit flies, not too far off. I mean, it'd be funny if they took fruit flies and made them sniffers for cocaine.
You would, yeah. You're like, oh, there they are. They're flying.
It'd be cheaper than a dog.
Low key, they could just breathe them every couple weeks, and you're like, oh, there's the next batch. But yeah,
Cocaine. They're going for the cocaine. There's the cocaine. Yoink.
Exactly. That the idea is interesting because they are looking into how all this works, right? But that's the other kind of scary part too. Like the other side of it is like where food science can get mixed into it, where they can make food that can be that is more addictive tastes better, and food that is healthy tastes worse if they turn off the turn off the right receptors, right? Or turn on the right ones. Like, oh, this healthy food, it's bad for you because it tastes bad. Because as humans, right, or any animal actually, like what they did with the fruit flies, they see the cocaine as poison, right? Because it tastes bad. So that's what they were saying, right? But once they disabled the gene, like, oh, you don't taste the bitterness. It's not bad for you. And then you just go for it, right? Because that's kind of the animal kingdom, right? There are certain things that, like humans it's themselves, for the most part, taste bad might be bad for you, right? Even though we definitely just go eat the quote poison of spicy food, even though spicy food is bad for you. That's why plants have been evolving to have high levels of capsaicin, because like, no, we are bad for you. Don't eat me. You'll burn your mouth, right? That's the other side of this, is the dark science, where if food scientists get a hold of this, it's like they're just gonna get you addicted to certain foods, or like just like, oh yeah, you shouldn't be eating those because they're bad for you because they're not delicious, even though they're the most healthiest.
Yeah, I can see that. But remember, from the get-go down to humans, we did a trial and error. Oh, that's not good for you. That's bad for you. There was somebody, always a guinea pig. Oh, that's poisonous, so do that. And, we always had that. Now we have the guinea pigs as little fruit flies. Yes, yeah, I see the devil side of it. Like, it's like really bad that we do that. But what if we could solve, figure out how to switch on our addiction gene to be like, oh, that's bad for you, and we walk away from that. You know what I mean? We can't really study that in humans. We can see that none of them. There's some who do break the cycle, and then there are some who don't break the cycle. But what if we could figure out how to turn that gene on to break that cycle, what if we can manipulate something, a drug, to stop the addiction? What if we can find a cure-all, basically? And I'm not like it's gonna be huge, but we could say, hey, this could be a cure-all,
No, yeah.
help with the people who want to break that cycle but having a hard time, and they just need that little edge, a little bump, be like, oh, I don't like it anymore, that stuff's gross.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, the science is more helpful than maybe the results. Like, you never know what might happen. The it all depends on how it's utilized, right? Like what we hope for is the good benefits of actually helping addicts escape those, and potentially not having people think, oh, I can start smoking meth because they have a drug that will get me addicted to it, right? That's hope. Let's hope that's not the idea here, right? Or opening up Pandora's box of companies, because as we all know, money talks, where companies will use this science to just make us addicted to certain products, and we'll just never be able to escape from it, as the sugar companies have taken a hold of the American populace in the last couple decades, and so on and so on.
We're their guinea pigs, y'all. We're their guinea pigs.
Exactly. But let's always hope for the best, as far as we hope for. So the next time you see a fruit fly hovering over your drink, don't swat it. He might just be chasing the high.
Next, a fungus that evolved to eat people from inside out, because science giveth and science taketh away.
The Last of Us was just the opening act. Let's get fungal.
Not a single fuck was given this day.
Okay. So this last one, so everyone remember The Last of Us had us thinking, wow, good thing this couldn't happen in real life.
Yeah, well, science said, hold my petri dish, because now we got a Aspergillus fumigatus, a real-world fungus that adapts into human body temperatures and literally eating people from the inside out.
So that's not a metaphor. This is a flesh-invading mold that, once it finds a host, settles in, replicates, and slowly shuts your organs down, like it's a boarding up in your insides. Ugh.
It's like the cordyceps, but without the cool clicker sound effects. Just a slow, silent dread of your lungs being colonized by spore-related estate developers.
So let's talk nerdy for a second here. Oh God, not again! God damn it! Scientific words. Aspergillus fumigatus. Okay, that's close enough. Aspergillus fumigatus. There it is a terminally. Hey, give me a break here. Zoe.
I know, it's funny.
Is terminally dimorphic fungus. Thermally oh my God, why can't I read? Dimorphic. Hey.
Dimorphic, you got it right.
Oh my God, you're making me whatever. It's a fungus that's gonna murder us, which means it can change shape depending on temperature. Oh, so no, that's what it means. Oh, that's what that means. Thermally dimorphic fungus. Okay. So anyways, it used to be our 98.6 bodies were too hot for most fungus to thrive on. Good.
But thanks to climate change, this is bad boys evolving, adapting to heat and turning the human body into prime beachfront property for microscopic invaders.
It spreads via airborne spores, god damn it, which are so light that they... why can't we escape anything? Which is so light that they float invisibly through the air. You could inhale them in a garden, a hospital, your grandma's attic, anywhere. Oh, god damn it.
One breath and you're sitting in the lungs are less air system and more fungal rave cave.
It's not just the stealth factor. It's that, oh my God, Aspergillus is it? I'm just gonna say Aspergillus is also showing signs of antifungal resistance. Our already limited meds starting to fail. Oh really? I didn't know that. That kind of sucks. We need better science.
There's not a lot of antifungals, you know that, right? There's not a lot
What?
of them out there.
Oh,
There's not a lot
God,
of antifungals out there.
God damn it, we need to improve our
Unlike
science.
antibiotics, which has a ton, we have tons of antifungals are scarce, and the few we have talk as hell, the kind of stuff that fixes your infection but fries your kidneys in the process.
Why? God damn. Oh my god, even worse. The treatment window are short. If you're if you're immunocompromised, this fungi can kill.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you're fucked if you're basically immunocompromised. It kills you within days. Damn.
It doesn't even need to zombify you. It just waits for your immune system to blink and then moves in with a duvet and a vengeance.
Here, there's more. Here's the real kicker: the rise of the killer fungus is less about one bug, but more about the environment we cooked up.
Hotter temperatures equals stronger spores. More urban construction equals more dust equals more spores in the air. Add in rising global travel, weaken ecosystems, and boom, nature hits the gas pedal.
We're basically trained these fungi apparently to survive like in us, like gym bros for pathogens. Bro, I used to only do like leaf rot. Now I can squat in a human rib cage. Let's go.
Peak mold gains.
So the online space is calling it the silent sporepocalypse. One user said, fungi used to be flavor, now they are the final boss.
TikTok of someone walking through a mushroom aisle in Trader Joe's like it was a hostage situation. You good, King? You staying in the stir fry, not the bloodstream?
Someone made a meme of cordyceps with an iced coffee caption, me thriving in a hostile environment. Honestly, relatable.
And my favorite tweet, if the fungus gets me, make sure my last words are, it's giving it decay.
Here's the existential dread kicker. If it wasn't already, right?
If it wasn't enough, here's more.
If the fungi are evolving this fast, how long before we lose the immunity arm race?
It's not like sexy like zombies or dramatic like viruses. It's quiet, microscopic creepiness. Fungus doesn't knock; it seeps in, and by the time you notice, you're part of its home decor.
And it doesn't care who you are, rich, poor, healthy, vegan, crossfitter, or it's non-partisan. All right, yeah, partisan. Fungi are the original equalizer.
Plus, the older than dinosaurs, harder to kill than roaches, and you don't even need you alive to spread.
Ooh. So, what are your thoughts here?
We all knew eventually Mother Earth was gonna get us. She
I
just did it
know.
the slow way.
Why can't we have a fun? Why can't we have like a fun zombie apocalypse to destroy us? Even a Fallout style thing, but no, a slow. Another near pandemic.
Last of Us, literally like the Last of Us. That reminds me of the last episode. I don't know the season 2.
I haven't finished watching season 2 either. But
Okay, watch it. I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
I don't worry. I already
I'll buy
watched. I've already seen the game, so I kind of get an idea what's happening. But you see, we don't even get cordyceps. We just die because it's inside us, which sucks. And like this article mentioned, and like you mentioned, we have very little, basically weapons against these. Right? We have like very little weapons to fight this, and definitely if you're like what is it, immune compromised, you're fucked. It's basically like if COVID's older brother came and like said, "Fuck you guys, we're messing with my little brother," right?
Right, and it really is. But this is a slow killer, and you just never know if you inhaled it at one point or another. And I totally could see it. Like we destroy ecosystems. We destroy, get what we need and want out of this life, and we're not realizing what we're putting back into the air, the water stream. Like it's eventually gonna catch up to us. Mother Earth has been playing this long ass game since the dawn of time I created these little creatures, didn't think anything about it. Oh, they're delicious, or some of them are poisonous, or some of them are great, equalizers and health, benefits. But like,
Yeah, exactly. It's
our
like,
guys coming back at us.
yeah, it won't be like the hurricanes. It won't be volcanoes. It's gonna be a fungus spore. That's gonna be the end of us. It wasn't COVID. It's gonna be the fungi. What the fuck were they called? Stupid name.
Aspergillus.
Whatever it's called. That's so lame.
Aspergillus.
Aspergillus. Asper. Why? Why Asper? Makes me now more nervous to just breathe outside. I'm mostly on hot days. like I already felt under the weather. Because it was like I don't know.
That was rain. That's a fucked up part. And I get that with rain. I get with hot day. Well, not hot days. It's mostly rain, but yeah, the mold in the air, the rain time.
And that's the other thing, right? Like, I don't think I don't think I mentioned it. Like this, did I mention on the podcast that this year, this season, like, my allergies have been kicking me out like 200%.
It's been kicking everybody's asses up. I mean, everybody, not just myself. I mean, allergies definitely got me. It definitely got my coworkers. I mean, like, it was widespread.
Exactly. And I had 0 to no allergies ever until this year. Like nothing. And this year it went up like 10 notches. Like,
remember, every 7 years your body changes, and you just had a birthday.
True. So damn. But yeah, but then adding these fungi to the mix, sheesh, just never know. Any other things you want to talk about before? Because yeah, so maybe now is not the time to upgrade those. Maybe now it is time to upgrade those air filters. Stop raw doggy nature and look into a HEPA mask again.
And maybe don't ignore mysterious coughs for 4 months because allergies are acting up. Sometimes your lungs are just getting cozy for some company.
We're not saying panic, but maybe don't go licking mushrooms in the wild now.
If your wall looks fuzzy and it's not a Pinterest craft, move immediately.
Okay, so all right, that wraps up this spore-infested, coffee-fueled, jazz hand gone wrong episode of the Convoluted Podcast.
We survived killer dolls, vehicular caffeine chaos, surprise weddings, audience freak nasties, fly junkies, and airborne death mode. You're still with us. You're built different.
You're the kind of listener who could survive a fungal apocalypse and win a workplace harassment lawsuit. We salute you.
And if this episode made you laugh, cringe, or quietly Google, is Chucky HR compliant? Then you already know what to do.
Smash that like button on YouTube. Do it like you're squashing a co-fuel fruit fly.
And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or your weird cousin's podcast app of choice, hit follow, leave a review, and drop a 5-star rating like it's hot.
Even better, share the episode with someone who'd either love it or be deeply disturbed by it. Either way, we get a new listener.
Word of mouth keeps us flying like caffeinated bugs in a petri dish. So don't keep chaos.
You can always follow us on Instagram. Yeah, mostly Instagram for memes, episode drops, and chaotic commentary between releases.
And don't forget, we post bonus clips, teasers, and the occasional fan fuel meltdown on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Get on it.
Okay, so let's hope next week's looking even weirder. We got stories cooking involved really haunted furnitures, AI generated hate mail, potentially one raccoon with diplomatic immunity, maybe.
Until then, hydrate, ventilate, and never accept a gift bag from your ex.
Stay weird, stay reckless.
Stay convoluted.
Bye.
Anything aboard after 93 can't cook. All they know is McDonald's charge their phony hot chip and lies.